a bookie. Some bookieing going on, and it involves some people who played the game.
I have to be honest, Matt, and Dustin and I might be the only two people on Earth who feel this way. We thought this was going to be one of the biggest stories of the year, and it has gone by with barely a pin drop sound.
I don't know if you heard or not, Tiger might play the Masters. So it just,
I did hear that an older man in his late 40s might enter a golf tournament that he gets into on my legacy. Yes. So the bookie ring that the Justice Department ultimately broke up was based in California. This was multi-millions of dollars. And when I say multi-millions of dollars, we're talking about just a couple of customers of this bookie ring having washed $18 million of checks through a check cashing shop. This is massive. But a bookie ring by itself doesn't really get our attention, right? We know it exists. It's part of the reason we talk about the benefits of the regulated market is to get things like this out in the light. What's notable about it is who was involved. The proprietor of this ring was a former minor league baseball player named Wayne Nix, who ultimately was able to enlist 3 separate former Major League Baseball players, essentially as agents. I wouldn't say mules, it's a little higher than that in the hierarchy, but guys who were facilitating bets for a bookie ring that stretched from California down to Costa Rica, because there was a Costa Rican operation running a call center and a website that was essentially the place that most of the odds and bets were being handled. The money was being handled in the United States. We have a story at Legal Sports Report that lays out the whole thing. I would be thrilled if anyone listening who hasn't read it yet would go read it, because I spent many hours inside court filings to try to make this into something understandable. But the Justice Department release announcing these indictments, or I should say these plea agreements, it said that not only were there 3 former Major League Baseball players working for the ring, but that the bettors included current and former professional athletes. They included a Major League Baseball coach. They included a baseball analyst. They included a prominent broadcaster who had to mortgage his house in order to pay off debts, at which time Wayne Nix turned his account back on so he could keep betting. So this is a wild,
That's just
wild
good
story.
business, Adam, all right? Like, that's just called good business is all that is.
Yeah, I can't imagine what he was going to have to sell next to pay off his next round of debts. So, again, the story is at LSR right now, but I'm shocked that this thing went by with such a pin drop, because we're talking about former Major League Baseball players who were connected to current and former professional athletes facilitating illegal wagers in the millions of dollars.
I have 2 things here. That one, if we had names, I feel like that would be bigger, right? Like, Adam and I went through some minor league baseball reference sites, and you can maybe figure out who the connections are. And not well enough. I mean, we have initials from the court filing, so you can't for sure. If you have names, I think maybe then you have this it becomes more than just this vague idea that there are people out there connected to Major League Baseball, or former players or players at the time who were connected to this. That's I think that's what's kept it from crossing over into really capturing people's imagination. The second part is this is exactly why, like, we get all this hand-wringing about the regulated market. This crap is going on. It involves players. It involves people very well connected to Major League Baseball, not going on in a regulated market at all as all of this happened. And yes, we've caught a couple NFL players betting in the regulated markets, but there's far more of this, I guarantee you, going on than anybody trying to get through at a regulated sportsbook anywhere in the U.S.
Not the first time, too, that we've heard of the land-based bookies partnering with the Costa Rican offshore to make it more accessible to everybody, having an app that they can bet on to where it's not just, hey, you call up or send a text or whatever or something like that. So not the first time we've heard of that either, Adam.
No. So if you were a customer at any point of Sand Island Sports, consult your attorney. You might be getting a phone call at some point. It's not impossible. But you're right. And part of what makes this so, what's the right word? Not egregious, but what makes it notable is what you just said, that they needed the trading operation running out of Costa Rica to make this run, right? Like, to do this on the scale that they wanted to do it. What was happening was when someone was recruited into this betting ring, they got their account through Sand Island Sports, the Costa Rican website and call center, which was actually owned by a man who lives in Southern California. But they needed what was already an established offshore operation to be able to facilitate this on the scale that they were running it. So when we talk about the illegal offshore unregulated market, it's not just a matter of who has an account with Bovada. We're talking about things like this too.
Yeah, absolutely. No, absolutely. So I hope we do get some names here in short order too, because I do think that would make this a little bit more spicy for sure. And again, read all the words over there over on LegalSportsReport.com. We can't do it all justice here on the podcast.